Yeah, we in here, man. I'm probably shadow banned, chat. I ain't gonna lie. I'm probably shadow banned. Wow. Lucas stall out them pint bottles out Granny crib. I poured so much I ain't want to live. Told money then, shit we in the wind. I was in the hood when I clipped the bin. Since a young nigga I been ready. Went glass house on every Chevy. In this game I tried plenty settings. It's all or nothing. How niggas been. Got sucker niggas keep suckers with them. One of the reasons I ain't fucking with them. Trish taking some more than her. Guess she couldn't even afford a winner. I'm open late, don't need a scale, and it's always over. Sneak wishing well, I double down, slick shit to spell. Shawty know I don't kiss and tell. I'm faded, 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 faded. I'm faded, 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 faded. Hell, I'm faded, 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 faded. I'm faded, 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 faded. Alright, man. Yo, we probably shadow banned, chat. I ain't gonna lie, they ain't like that shit.
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
Okay.
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
Okay. Double tap the screen, shut a live out. What's up, Darkin? What's up, Big Niche? Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it, man. Where is, hold on, let me get the video. Double tap the screen, share the live out, man. Share the live out, double tap the screen, man. I want to know, should all illegals be deported immediately? We finna watch this Steven Crowder debate. I guess he's at a college campus. I don't know where exactly he's at, man. We finna watch this and we finna get some call-ins, see how y'all feel about it. Should all illegals be deported immediately?
I mean, as if you ask me my opinion, and then I answer and you go, that's interesting, that sounds possessive. Flip the mic too, so I gotta hold it.
Okay.
What's your name, by the way?
My name is Savannah.
Savannah, nice to meet you, Savannah. Let me ask you, how familiar are you, if at all, with kind of this installment, this series?
Not at all, actually.
Okay.
I didn't know that you would be here today until I saw the signs around campus, and then, yeah,
Okay.
I think one of my friends Googled you and found out that you were 38, but that's it.
Oh, okay. Well, at least I got it right, because I also say I own a waterfront ocean Dallas waterfront property, which doesn't even make sense. Yeah, it's not possible. So let me explain to you kind of, just so we're not talking past each other, let me first tell you kind of what it's not. It's not gotcha, scoring points, dunking, clips, which I know we see a lot online. This was actually created about a decade ago to be sort of the anti-cable news, where people can actually have conversations that you don't see in media, where hopefully they're done in good faith, and it's, of course, used in its entire context. We never edit it out of context. So, and obviously, however you want to have the conversation, that's up to you, but I just want you to know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, it's fine.
And the
I'm
topic-
here for a constructive conversation.
Okay.
I don't think that I can change your mind, and I don't think that you can change my mind, although I'd like to see you try.
That's fair. Well, you're sitting down to change my mind, so, but we'll see. Sometimes people are surprised. So today's conversation, yep, wholesale, I support deporting all illegal aliens in this country, certainly in 2025. I think it's imperative for a multitude of reasons, and if you disagree, you're more than welcome to change my mind, Savannah.
Okay, well, how do you feel about the ways that current deportations are being handled across the country?
Support it.
You support, like, the racial profiling and possibly the arrest of U.S. citizens?
So I don't know of a single U.S. citizen who's been deported.
No, I didn't say deported. I said being detained because
Sure.
their citizenship is being questioned.
Well, let me ask you this. If someone matches the profile, for example, of a hit and run, and you're detained and questioned, and they find out it's not you, is that a violation of your rights?
No, but the deportations that are happening across the country are going a little more deeper than that. Unfortunately, that seemed to be a very surface level example.
Sure, I understand why you would say that. And if that was the only way we're deporting people, sure, I don't have a problem with it.
Here we go.
But it's not. So let me ask you, are you against all of the methods of deporting people right now? Like, how do you think we should do it?
Well, that's actually the question I had for you, considering that you're hosting this event. How do you think that deportations across the country should be handled? Because when I think of deportations, I'm thinking of...
He just said he supports it. He just said he likes the way deportations are being handled. Like, what? Now, I think some of the deportations are a little aggressive. I'm not going to lie. I do like the pepper spray and all of that when kids are around in schools. Like, yeah, I think it's a little much, but it is what it is. He's saying that he supports it. She's saying she doesn't.
The mass roundups that have been happening, and then the detainment, I forget what it's called, alligator Alcatraz or something, that was in Florida.
Yeah, alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah, so that's what I think. So I was just wondering how you think that the deportation should be handled.
Yeah, alligator Alcatraz was for some of the worst offenders, violent offenders. Let me ask you this, before we get to that, do you believe that we should deport illegal aliens?
I think it's a very situational occurrence.
Okay.
I find myself disagreeing with the mass deportations that are happening, which is why I wanted to come here today and ask you what your definition of illegal is and who fits that criteria.
Someone who's come to this country illegally. Anyone.
So anyone who doesn't have paperwork.
Yeah, anyone who's in this country illegally, who committed the crime, the misdemeanor of coming to this country illegally, or visa overstays, which make up a percentage that, yeah, I think it's pretty clear. I don't think that that's one of those scenarios where it's gray. You're either a legal citizen or you're not. So I support deporting all illegal aliens at this point. Which ones would you support deporting? I guess would be my question to you. And then how should we do that?
Well, the question really comes back to how we go about deporting necessarily. So,
okay.
I think, because I mean, ultimately.
Cause it's like what? Like how do you pick and choose who to deport? You know what I'm saying? Is it like people who just came in under Biden? Is it people who overstayed their visas? Is it people who, you know, were like trafficked into the country? Like, how do you judge? Like, what's the ground rules? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it just everybody who overstays their visa gets deported, but we let the people who came in, you know, in droves stay? Or is it vice versa? Okay, the people who overstay their visas, they get to stay here longer, but the people who came in across the border under Biden, they have to go. Like, how do you pick and choose? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you pick and choose?
Ultimately, there has to be a solution. There's a solution for everything, especially in politics and things like that.
Sometimes.
I would like to say so. I would like to say that there would
What's up,
ultimately be a
Blackish?
solution here.
Yeah.
So.
But do you mean a solution that you're okay with, or do you mean it? Because sometimes the solution is not a pretty one.
Well, I was raised by Southern people.
Okay.
So we think.
So how do y'all feel about the high school teacher? I believe it was in like Iowa. How do y'all feel about him? Or superintendent, I believe. Was he a principal or superintendent? One of those. He was running the damn school district, and he was an illegal immigrant. He overstayed his visa for a lot of years. He had got caught, you know what I'm saying, a couple crimes along the lines, but regardless of the crimes, how do y'all feel? He had overstayed his visa and worked his way up into getting voted in by a school board of a high-level position, probably making about 6 figures. Should his ass have been deported, yes or no? I mean, it looks like if we're not taking into consideration the arrest, let's just say no arrest. Let's just say he overstayed his visa, made it to be a superintendent making 6 figures a year. Should his ass have to go?
What's it called? You know that you've come to a good conclusion when both parties feel like they're being screwed over?
Yeah, compromise is when no one's happy,
Yes.
something like that. That's how we say it in the Northeast, but same thing.
Talking about you don't know the facts, but you want to talk about it. Shut the hell up, James. We just talked about it the other day. You want to know the facts? I'll pull it up. Let's see. Iowa teacher deported. That'll pull it up. Let's get off in this motherfucker. Superintendent, that's what he was. Ian Roberts, the former superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools in Iowa, so he definitely was making 6 figures, was arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, on September 26 after being found in possession of a loaded handgun, hunting knife, and $3,000 cash while fleeing agents. So they came to pick his ass up because they knew he had overstayed his visa and he was the superintendent. And upon picking him up, that's when he got caught with the shit. So yeah, he was a superintendent.
Yes.
You're much more polite in the South. I was raised by French Canadians, horrible, horrible people, but same sentiment.
So it's interesting that you say that you were raised by French Canadians, and I mean, does that also? It's interesting to think that you're raised by French Canadians,
Yeah.
yet you still support deporting all illegal.
Why is that interesting?
Because you would think that if you're being raised by someone who isn't from this country, maybe you would have a more open mindset.
Oh, I think I have a very open mindset. I was born.
Nah, he had a final, it says, he was detained despite having a final order of removal issued by an immigration judge in May 2024, having lived under the U.S. without legal status since his student visa expired. So yeah, he was here. He entered the U.S. in '99 on a student visa, earned degrees. So he came here, got some degrees from Georgetown, Harvard, competed in Guyana for track and field Olympics in 2000. So he's an Olympic athlete. Despite having a final order of a removal in 2024, Roberts served as superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools from July 2023 until his resignation October 2nd. Des Moines School Board placed him on unpaid leave following his arrest and later revoked his administrative certificate, citing his lack of legal work authorization. So yeah, they got his ass up out of here, man. They got his ass up out of here, and it looks like he was a productive member of society. I mean, he had a few $1,000s on him, and he wasn't supposed to have that gun on him for sure. He wasn't supposed to have that gun if he illegal.
Right. My dad's American. My mom is French Canadian. She now lives in the States. She's very proud, has gone through the process, loves America, speaks the language, pays taxes, contributes. My woman is Latina.
Your woman?
My woman, my lady, my missus.
Belongs to you.
Yeah, she likes, I don't know if you know these Latina women, they love a little bit of possessiveness, but I say it as a term of endearment. She went through the naturalization process. I fell in love with her when I saw a picture of her with her she was actually going through the process of a picture for the Statue of Liberty and a MAGA flag that she had. And both of them actually are far more aggressive than I am in deporting illegal aliens because they appreciate the citizenship. They appreciate being a part of this great country. So
you pay for that damn visa. What's that visa they got on 90 Day Fiance? What's that visa they be tricking them in out of that Angela was trying to get for Michael? Man, y'all remember, what's that damn the green card, man? They was trying to marry in, man. That shit ain't cheap. So you know you had to spend a pretty penny to get your wife over here, man. And you seeing all of these folks flooding in, you know what I'm saying, getting, you know, married and engaged and having babies. Y'all seen that woman? She was about to get married. She had her wedding dress on and they drug her ass up out of there, man, deported her, man. Hey, Steven Crowder, like, look, I spent a pretty penny, man, to get my wife over here, man. All of that other shit need to stop.
I don't really think that that's inconsistent. As a matter of fact, I think it's the rule, not the exception. But going back to the question, who would you deport then? Who would you deem acceptable? What's your term as far as, I guess if you disagree with the legal definition of an illegal alien? And then how would we do it?
Unfortunately, you've just asked me like 3 questions.
Okay.
Which one would you like to
Who
answer
should be
first?
deported, and how should we do it?
Let me think. I guess I've never considered who I would deport if I was king of the world. Which people would I get rid of first, I guess? Well, I mean, if we go way back in history, because obviously if we don't study history, then we're doomed to repeat it.
Sure.
If we're talking about the colonial era and how, you know, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492 and all of those things.
This the thing. When it comes to due process, before crossing the border illegally, y'all say it used to be a civil offense, you know? That's the argument I get a lot on here, is that it used to be a civil offense. Well, they changed it and made it criminal. Yes, it was retroactive, but a lot of shit changes, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can talk about substances, you know, they do that all the time. They go back and retroactively ban substances. Will get your ass up out of here. You will have a prison number if you get caught with that substance that was just legal not that long ago. I remember when I was in high school, they did it with Spice, K2. They used to sell the little packs in the gas stations for they had a little run for maybe a few months, a year or whatever, and then they banned it.
And if your ass was caught selling it, you're going to jail. Your ass was caught with it, you're going to jail. It just happens, you know. It happens.
My question would be, who can be illegal on stolen land?
Oh, okay. So you're saying that no one is here legally?
Well, no, I'm not saying that no one's here legally. I'm saying, how can people be illegal on land that didn't belong to them in the first place?
So who does the land belong to? And I still do want to get to the point here where you said there's a solution to everything. To do that, you do have to live in the real world, obviously, and right now it's 2025, and you have a disagreement with deportation. You said, well, I don't think we can do it. I don't remember your words, wholesale, we need to determine who. So I think it's a fair question to say, who should be deported, and how would you do it? The solution isn't going to be this is all stolen land and give it back. I don't know if you've been to a Native American reservation lately. I don't think anyone would like that. And I don't think that's what they're asking for either. But who would you deport and how would you do it? And then we can see where we differ.
Unfortunately, I don't think that anyone should be deported unless maybe someone's being extradited back to a country of origin.
Okay.
So saying if someone has committed a crime in maybe the UK or something, maybe they, the people who robbed, what's it called, the Louvre, and they stole all the crowns and the tiaras.
Yeah, I know. I still can't believe that happened. You're like, how do you not catch these people?
It was like an Ocean's 11.
It really was.
But I would...
For me, though, I see what you're saying, AN, if they had a visa. But for me, though, I don't understand why they wouldn't let the superintendent stay. It's like, dude, he graduated, he went to Georgetown, and I think, what was the other school? What was the other school they said he went to? He went to Georgetown and some other school. Georgetown and Harvard. Oh, he got degrees. He came in 99 on a student visa, got degrees from Georgetown and Harvard, was competed for Guyana in the Olympics. So he was an Olympic athlete, 2 degrees, you know what I'm saying, a superintendent. If anybody should damn stay, I think it would probably be somebody like that guy. I'm just saying. But they gave his ass a final order. Look, you're not staying, dude.
I would say, unfortunately, I don't think that anyone deserves to be reported unless they're being extradited back to their country of origin because they are committing crimes in their country of origin, and they are escaping because they don't want to face imprisonment.
What if they're committing crimes here?
I think that the term that comes to mind is that America is a third world country with a Gucci belt. So if we have enough funding to, say, maybe deport all of these illegal people, then why don't we have enough money to fix our justice system?
Yeah, and this is one of the things where people just move the goalposts or present a red herring. I do want to stay on topic. I think we need to fix the justice system as well. But going to this, you see there's a solution for everything. Illegal aliens not only commit crimes, and that's why I brought it up at a much higher rate than native-born citizens. They also cost the taxpayer $150 to $450 billion a year. It is a serious problem, and obviously you know about our debt, our deficit. So how do we deal with this problem? Or it sounds to me like you're saying you wouldn't even deport people who've come here illegally, that's a crime, and are committing extra crimes while here. You wouldn't deport those people?
No, I don't think I would, actually. I think that the prison system here in America is well equipped to maybe handle the reformation of those citizens. But I think that when your only option is to escape a country, when you're seeking political asylum, it's not necessarily the easiest thing in the entire world to obtain citizenship before you go to the country that you want to be in.
Yeah, but why are they entitled to go to any country they want?
Why is anyone entitled to live in it?
Well, all countries, I don't know if you're aware, like they all have borders and they all have laws and becoming a citizen.
I'm aware that
Mexico is
countries
far, actually we have one of the most lenient policies out there. In Mexico, you can't even own waterfront property.
Well, yeah, in Mexico that you can't own guns either, and that's where the cartel has a lot of control.
That's a good point.
What I'm saying
it's true.
is,
You disarm the citizens, you end up emboldening the worst of society. And a lot of those people, I'm sure you know this, are invigorated and emboldened by the human trafficking that goes on. Even people coming here seeking a better life, they have to go through coyotes, and a lot of them don't make it here. There are more slaves on Earth. If we go that route of open borders, there are more slaves on Earth now than ever in human history. Did you know that?
well, yes, I did.
Yeah, and a big part of them are sex slaves. And they thrive under open borders policies. Sorry, the sun?
It's the sun reflecting off of that car. Sorry, it just like got me.
Which damn car, mine's cocky SOB over there. I don't know who's driving it, but
It's okay.
so yeah, it would be incumbent upon you, because it's not as though there's no net laws. if it's 150 to 450 billion dollars a year to the American taxpayer. Make the case to the struggling American right now who's paying taxes out the wazoo. That someone who comes here pays no taxes, shares nothing in common with the culture, language, commits crimes, according to your definition here, should still be allowed to stay and be supported by their tax dollars. Make that case, because that actually is, if we're going to come up with a solution, you need to make that case. Those are the people who are voting.
It's very interesting that you've mentioned multiple times about speaking the language. It's almost as if you demean people for not being fluent in English. I'm curious to see are you fluent in the language that your lady spoke?
So I speak French.
Yes.
She speaks Portuguese, Spanish, and English.
Yes.
But she hates it when people are here in this country and don't speak English. And my mom is French, and she hates it when people here don't speak English. Because my mom came here from... Well, it's an irrelevant question. So let's have you answer one question. Just one.
I have said that.
So you wouldn't deport criminals. So let me ask you this. Why should the American taxpayer keep footing the bill for current criminals who are also illegal aliens? Those are the people who are affected.
Well, it's almost as if that you're insinuating that illegal citizens do not pay taxes at all. Because you can receive employment here in the United States. There's a little checkbox that you have to put on job applications.
I didn't say that, but go ahead with this trick. I never said that none of them pay taxes.
Well, it's interesting the way that you phrase it, because it's almost insinuating that illegal citizens don't pay taxes.
I would say it's interesting the way you interpret it, because what I said is they cost the American taxpayer 150 to 450 billion. Now I could tell you, provide you the reference if you want to take these with you, so you don't have to take my word for it, that there's about that's including the 17% offset of taxes that are paid from illegal aliens. So even including that number, it's 150 to 450 billion dollars. Whether they all pay taxes or very few of them pay taxes is irrelevant. It's a net cost. There'd be no way of tracking it.
It's irrelevant. So
150 to 450 billion. Why should Americans pay for it?
It's irrelevant. The 400 billion is irrelevant. Crazy.
I'm finding that your argument is very circular. So realistically, I'm realizing that there is no way to change your mind unless you are willing to break the cycle that is your circular argument.
Right. So what would break that is about the language that I speak privately with my woman in my house?
Well, I mean, you referenced earlier that I was moving the goalpost. I was whatever. I'm a social work major here at the University of Oklahoma.
Fantastic.
I'm sorry?
I said fantastic. Good. Thank you for the work.
I am just trying to understand where your opinion comes from, because that's what we do.
Sure.
Social science is understanding how you can... Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, okay. Social science is understanding how...
You can bat it around like a cat toy. Just don't take it with you.
Yeah, it's very tempting. I should have you sign it on the side. But I apologize. I got derailed there for a second. But social science is based on understanding where your opinion comes from.
Sure.
And it takes a certain amount of intelligence to understand why you believe what you believe.
So why do you think you don't understand it?
Because your argument is very circular.
Okay, explain to me how it's circular.
Because it seems as if you're not willing to... When I said that, it's almost as if that you were insinuating that no one who is an illegal citizen is paying taxes.
Yeah.
You immediately brought up statistics saying, well, there's the 17%.
No, I said because you were mischaracterizing what I said. I never said that. So if you're a social worker, shouldn't you also... Let's say someone comes in and needs help. If they say, hey... I have a problem because, I don't know, I'm being recruited for this gang and I'm in a neighborhood, and if I don't, it's going to be dangerous to me. And you go, okay, but what I'm hearing you saying is your entire neighborhood is nothing but a gang. And he goes, no, that's not what I'm saying. I said the net cost to taxpayers is $150 to $450 billion a year. You said, well, you're insinuating or demeaning people for none of them paying. That's not what I said. And then I gave you a follow-up stat to ensure it wasn't circular logic. I'm aware of the 17% offset. So it costs the American taxpayer a lot of money, not to mention sanctuary cities and crimes, which disproportionately affects...
So, I know. I interrupted you there.
That's okay, go ahead.
You've been interrupting me this whole time. So, that's unfortunate. But in the South, we are very polite. What I was going to ask... Oh, I forgot, actually.
Well, how is that circular? I corrected what was a straw man. You're social. It's a logical fallacy, a straw man. You built up an argument that I didn't make. And when I said, well, that's not the argument I made, you said it was circular logic. I said, no, I'm just clarifying that's not what I said.
It's interesting.
Is that fair?
Well, I don't know. But it's interesting.
Is it fair to argue against the point or to present a case against the point that I actually made rather than one you've prepared to make a case against? Because I never said that.
Unfortunately, I think I am done.
I think so.
It is very hard to have a productive conversation with you
I can
when
imagine.
you continue to interrupt me and speak over me, and then say that, well, I'm moving the goalpost, and then given no time to maybe have a rebuttal to that.
Take all the time you want.
No, I'm saying I came here with the intention of actually having a productive conversation.
Sure.
I just wanted to know who you were and what you thought, because that's what we do in social work.
Yeah.
We want to understand who you are as a person and what you think about the topic that is most concerning to you.
So then shouldn't you listen when I say what I think of the topic, as opposed to making up something I didn't... Hold on. And then I'll give you the floor.
Actually,
Hold on, and then I'll give you the floor. I know you constantly say it, but we can set a timer and see who's interrupting who. Shouldn't you address the point if you ask me my opinion and I express it, and not misrepresent it?
It's just very interesting that whenever I get going on a particular topic, you continue to dominate the conversation. I understand that this is your show and there are cameras who are here for you. I get that. But I wanted to have a productive conversation, and it seems like that you're not actually here for that.
May I speak?
No, thank you. So
you've not addressed a single point.
I appreciate you giving
A single
me your
point
time.
that I've asked. Not one.
I
You've
wanted
obviously-
to understand who you are as a person.
Okay, well, this will help you understand.
No, you. Not whatever you believe about this, because that's what we do in social work.
I still don't know what it is that you do. Tell me what it is that you do.
In social work.
Yes.
So social work, by definition, we try to work with the person and understand where they are coming from, how they have formed that opinion, and then how we can either agree, disagree, reach commonality. So that's why I was asking you questions about your wife and why you called her your lady and how that was a little possessive, and that's why I got a little offended, because you were interrupting me before I could finish articulating my thought process. I was trying to understand who you are and where you're coming from where you're coming from with this argument. That way we could have a productive conversation. But when you continue to throw stats and you have a very circular argument, it's very hard to understand who you are as a person and achieve a productive conversation. I can have a conversation with you, but I don't have to agree with you.
Of course.
But it seems very disrespectful when you continue dominating the conversation, and I don't get a chance to do what I came here to do.
Okay. May I present?
So she really hasn't answered anything, but I do think she's genuine, chat. Y'all be sure to double tap the screen and share the live out. We are 3 subscribers away from the next sub goal. 3 subscribers away. Whoever is that 3rd subscriber, let me know and I will give you a shout out right here, right now. But yeah, she's not addressing anything, but I do think she wanted to sit down and have a genuine conversation with Steven. Steven's kind of running the show right now. He's trying to hit the points. He sat down and told her, like, hey, this is not about scoring points. This is about, you know what I'm saying, kind of understanding. So he kind of eased her in. Like, she was like, okay, cool, this is not that. And then when she's ready to, you know, she's probably beat on a point. So instead of her saying, I'm beat on the point, and like, hey, but like, can we talk about this? She's just kind of trying to transition into it. So he keeps pulling her back. And now she's getting frustrated, like, hey, I thought we were having a conversation, when he's like, okay, but you didn't address anything. So I feel like it might be a lot of this going on.
A suggestion. When you say listening to people and finding out where they're coming from, perhaps when you ask questions, listening to the answers and taking an interest in the reasoning, the rationale, the logic behind it, and not misrepresenting what they say, that would help. That would serve you better as a social worker. Because I don't think you'd listen to a whole lot. Well, what I mean is, if you ask me my opinion and then I answer and you go, that's interesting, that sounds possessive, or that sounds...
Well, yes, I think that to the ordinary person, identifying your lady as my lady would sound possessive. But maybe that's a cultural norm that I'm not accustomed to.
Sure, I'm sure you're not. But is that relevant to the point in the answer? Because you interrupted to say that offends me rather than listening. So do you not listen to people who...
He really just told her, like, I know you don't have a man. Like, I know you probably have never had a man at any point in your life. You're not accustomed to being called my lady because, no. Wow.
Come in and seek your social work the same way.
Thank you, Alan Spans.
Not here.
Thank you, Big Niche.
Productive conversation, and usually when I encounter someone in my field, they are also looking to have a productive conversation. But the way that you throw in the little tidbits that are demeaning, the way you have very circular argument, you throw stats, that's what makes me a little apprehensive to continue speaking with you.
I'm just trying to understand, is the tidbit that was demeaning the phrase "my lady"?
No, it's the little side comments that you sneak in when you're having conversations like this. You're a very sassy individual.
Like what? I said "my lady," you said that was offensive. What else?
Well, when I said that maybe that's a cultural norm that I'm not accustomed to, you said, well, I wouldn't expect you to. And then when we were talking about countries having borders, I said that yes, I understand that countries have borders. And you said, well, I hope you would.
No, that's actually not what I said. We can rewind it. Well, all countries, I don't know if you're aware, like they all have borders and they all have laws,
Yes,
and becoming a
I am
citizen.
aware that
Mexico
countries
is
have
far,
borders.
actually, we have one of the most lenient policies out there.
Well, I
think
mean,
maybe you interpret it.
unfortunately.
I think you paraphrase a lot
Interesting. Why do you think that?
because you've done it a lot.
Thank you, Alan.
Yeah.
Do you not?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, Steven was in his bag. Whoever edited that reversed back to what he actually said. They were in their bag with that one. I'm not gonna
Care to
lie.
elaborate further? It seems like you enjoy hearing yourself talk.
Well, see, this is what you do. You say you enjoy. Would you like me to speak, or will you then accuse me of dominating the conversation? I think you paraphrase a lot, and I think you strawman a lot, and I don't think you've answered a single question. I don't think you
No, I
presented.
did.
I don't think you presented your opinion on the issue at hand. I think you presented a lot of offenses based on some things that I've said and some things that I haven't. I think you paraphrased yourself into convincing yourself, Savannah, that you have a valid position. I don't think you do.
So,
Robar, you say you was the third subscriber. Hey, shout out to Robar for being the 41,200 subscriber, man. Shout out to Robar. We locked in, man. Welcome to Plug Nation. Mize, drop the Discord for Robar, man. We got Robar Plug Sex Zybag coming, man. We gonna get locked in with the Discord, Robar. We got you over here, man. I do have some hoodies coming, chat. Be sure to get in the Discord if you do want to get your hoodies. And I have one t-shirt left to give away. I have one t-shirt left to give away.
I'm saying that I don't think that anyone should be deported, and you say that I haven't answered any questions. You asked me.
That is one. That is one, and I appreciate you answering that.
Would you like to re-ask the other two, and then maybe I can provide further clarity?
Well, because what you...
Actually, I think I am done. I tried to leave earlier. I do appreciate talking with you.
Thank you
I
very
just
much,
wish
Savannah.
that we could have had a productive conversation.
Yeah, I do as
All
well.
right. I hope that you have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you. You too, Savannah. Appreciate it.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Listening helps, Savannah.
I did. And I am back.
And thank you, Savannah. Speaking of the picture of health, like I told you, we are supported by viewers like you, but the only other company that I've ever launched, a little bit closer, but you can angle forward if you want. I know you probably don't want to be.
All right, chat. I'm gonna ask y'all this: out of that first debate, Steven versus the lady, the social worker, what do you rate her debate? 1 through 10. Y'all give me a 1 through 10. What do you rate her debate going against Steven in that round one?
Illegal aliens cost the taxpayer in this country anywhere from $150 billion on the low end to $450 billion.
Oh, and how can someone get that link if it's on mobile? You got to screenshot that bad boy. And once you screenshot it, you just go to the picture and click on the link. It'll take you right there. I'm going to put it on my community tab wall too, man. I'm going to put it on my community tab wall right now for you. It's on the community tab wall now, chat. All right, man. It's on the community tab wall. I'm going to leave it up there for a little minute. We don't want too many infiltrators. Y'all know they be trying to infiltrate the Discord, man, and cause commotion. But we'll leave it up there for a little while.
Dollars a year, taxpayers. Let's split it and call it $350 billion or so. That's a lot, and there's no reason for it because it's something that could be prevented.
How so? Are you like insinuating that they don't like pay taxes and that's why they're costing the taxpayer money?
Yeah, most don't. So if you look at the contribution, the offset of the 150 to 450 billion, it includes the 17% or so offset of those who pay taxes. 17% not who pay taxes, but that's.
Okay, look, chat, we got to get to 100 likes right quick as well. We got to get to 100 likes. Double tapping the screen is how you get to 100 likes. I do have the Discord on the community tab wall for anybody who wants to join up, man.
But the offsetting costs. So they cost far, far more than they actually benefit.
So I thought like most like immigrants that come here illegally, right? They come here in search of
Did you say legally or illegal?
illegal.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like they come here in search of better opportunities, right? So,
Some.
like if they're coming here for like employment, then shouldn't they be forced to pay taxes by like the U.S. like revenue service or something?
You would think so, because you and I would. Yeah. Let me ask you, why do you think that many of them don't?
I honestly don't have an answer to that because I'm just assuming like
Yeah.
if they're doing work, then I'm assuming that the IRS is just gonna catch them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think the IRS is letting anyone go without like paying like income tax and stuff.
Oh, sure, plenty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, plenty. And not only plenty, but let's assume that they were on the books and not being paid cash, right? Let's assume that they could be tracked because they have a social security number. And I think you're basing these presumptions on a lot of respectfully talking points the left pushes out, hoping that you believe it. Most of them come here and pay taxes. That's actually just not true. But even if you were to take that into account, the amount of services and social benefits that they receive far exceed the portion of them who pay income taxes. But they can work off the books. They're incentivized to. The employers are incentivized to. And the entire Democratic Party has incentivized them to do so because, hey, it's pretty beneficial to have basically third world labor at third world wages. Yeah.
So, with regards to that, like, how is there like negative?
This the thing, Griffin. Them coming in legal now is an issue, but before it wasn't a big deal. Why would they come in legally when they were incentivized not to? You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, man, you come over, it's a slap on the wrist, it's a civil charge, they'll get you asylum, take you to the food stamp office, get you lined up. You can got a homeboy that know a homeboy that can get you a job, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you can go to the get a grant to go get your CDL. Now Gavin Newsom give you a CDL, you know what I'm saying? Like why would they come legally when they were incentivized for that time period not to? It just didn't make sense.
Like your opinion of their negative contribution on like the American economy.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna cost
Well, the taxpayer, the cost, yeah.
It's gonna cost them billions and billions of dollars to deport them. Like,
No.
what's the difference?
So, no, to give you an idea, deporting, the average cost to deport an illegal alien right now is estimated about $17,000. So if we deported, let's just say the 20 million who came in under Biden, give or take, right? No one knows the official number of how many are in the country. I've seen as low as 35. I've seen as high as 50 million. I assume it's somewhere around 30, 40 million. If we deported 20 million illegal aliens, that would cost us about 340 to 360 billion dollars. So we'd actually save money before the end of the year. Let's call it 1.5 years if we're using that low end estimate. They cost 150 to 450 billion dollars a year, and deporting 20 million right now would cost about 350 million. So it would be a net savings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I just have a question. So, with your your estimates on like what illegal immigrants cost like the American taxpayer?
Yeah.
Do you have like a citation for that? Like, do you have a
Yeah, all right here on the QR code.
Oh, okay.
Everything. Some of it comes from Cato. Some of it comes from the Bureau of Labor. There's probably about 40 or so sources there, and I don't think a single one of them is right-leaning. Yeah. So. Yeah, the left doesn't really even argue that anymore. They just say, well, it's the right thing to do is to give everyone an amnesty or path to citizenship. And to give you an idea, I don't know if you saw this, in Texas, they just checked to see how many illegal aliens use the emergency room services. In 1 month, the 1 month they tracked it, it was $120 million at one hospital. I don't know if you know this, but illegal aliens, they'll come in, they'll use the emergency room as primary care and never pay the bill. 120 million at one hospital in 1 month.
Yeah. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I know. That honestly blew my mind. And it also blew my mind that no one even thought to track him. So
Now, that's a two-part point there. Yes, I do believe it cost that hospital $120 million. Them going in there and not footing the bill. But we got to realize what the hospital is paying. When the hospital is not getting paid, they're going to ask the Fed for that money back. And a little bag of saline or whatever that you get shipped in at a blood bank or whatever, that shit's going to be probably 10, 15x the price coming out of that emergency room. So that $120 million, if the shit wasn't overpriced, would probably be cut down at least in half if shit wasn't overpriced. But that's still a lot of money. That is still a lot of money.
So the more we track it, the more we actually kind of dig into the numbers, the worse it is. There's no net economic benefit. And let me ask you this, because I know you're talking about the economy and people looking for a better life. Let's assume that that's true. It's not true of all illegal aliens, by the way. And that's why we have the crime problems that we have in a lot of these cities, namely sanctuary cities. But don't you think that it's imperative that the United States government looks out for people who are already here first
Thank
if
you,
they're looking
Alan.
for work? So 7.5 million Americans are looking for work. Why do we need to import people to do those jobs cheaper than Americans? And if you look at under the Biden administration, foreign-born workers, jobs, and they say job increases, it was about 3 million new jobs for people who weren't from the United States. Americans lost about 1.5 million jobs if they were born here. The first few months of Donald Trump's presidency, now it's about 1.5 million native-born working jobs gained and 1 million foreign-born working jobs lost. That shows a difference in approach. It shows a difference in priorities. I think our priority should be to Americans living here first who are looking for jobs. When you import people to do them, you just rob Americans of the opportunity to do those jobs, and the numbers show that they'll do them. Yeah.
I agree with that point, like, somewhat, but if, like, illegal immigrants are coming here, like, I would say a majority of them are coming here looking for work. I would say a majority of them are coming here looking to, like, cause havoc.
I didn't say that. I just said not all of them are.
Yeah, like if a majority of people are coming here looking for work, shouldn't like America with its capitalist like ideology, shouldn't like more talented like migrant workers get the roles compared to like someone who's like less talented but just born here natively?
Can you explain to me how a migrant is going to be more talented as a truck driver? How a migrant is going to be more talented at a meat packing plant?
What if they have more experience from the country they came from, and then they went here because, like, economically?
Hey, y'all give Blackish some flames for that combo 17, man. Thank you for your continued support, Blackish.
They could get paid more for something like that.
Yeah, so it'd be pretty hard to argue that case because people go through training to do these jobs, and some of them are unskilled jobs. So we've heard for a long time, who's going to pick your strawberries, right? Who's going to till the fields? Well, Americans did it. Who's going to mow your lawns? Well, Americans did it. And now the argument has shifted to, well, really highly skilled labor, for example, H-1Bs and Indians coming in here, coming to this country working in tech. And they'll do it for 30%, 40% less than the American wage, but they're not any better. So if Americans aren't good enough for low-skilled labor, they're not good enough for high-skilled labor, sounds to me like people are saying Americans aren't good enough for any labor, and you have plenty of Americans who are ready, willing, and able to do those jobs. They just can't do them because they're competing against third-world labor costs. I don't think that there aren't enough skilled Americans to do these jobs. If someone wants to argue picking strawberries, fine. I still disagree, but let's assume that. You can't then extend that to also retail, also truck driving, also...
Correct, but everything that we're naming, the Americans are not going to fill that job anyway. So this is, again, a two-part question because we're trying to be the world leader in AI and tech, which I agree. We need to be the world leader in AI, tech, robotics. But what does that come with? That comes with those jobs that you're saying specifically are going to be taken. We see the driverless trucks coming out already, the driverless 18-wheelers. Electric. We're talking about Amazon just said that they're gonna cut 700,000 jobs by 2026. We just seen AT&T shut down full call centers to go with AI. It's like everything that we're talking about, those jobs are still not gonna come to Americans. Yes, we can agree that those jobs shouldn't be filled by illegals, but we have to find a solid ground on being the world leader in these categories and keeping American jobs still. Like, cause those jobs are gone, bro. Like, they're gone. They're about to be gone. Like, they already said 700,000 at Amazon. Amazon, where I'm from, Amazon is like a pillar. Like in Arkansas, if you don't go nowhere to get a job, your ass can go to Amazon and make enough, you know what I'm saying, to support your household. Especially if both y'all work at Amazon. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be all right. You gonna get your overtime. You gonna get your holidays and shit like that, man. And Amazon is saying, look, bro, we're not doing it anymore. You know what I'm saying? We're finna buy these robots. We're just not finna do it anymore.
Trade jobs. Also, highly skilled tech jobs.
Now the trades, okay, we can talk about the trades. Yes, electricians. It's gonna be probably a while before we see electricians and maybe plumbing and shit like that. But we just seen Kevin O'Leary get up here and say that they can do about 70% of a house right now with just AI and robots. 70% of the crib is done without humans. 70%. The 30% is all that's needed. And they're talking about the trimmings and the fine details and trimming. That's not important, man.
Point do you say, hey, Americans matter too. They should be able to get jobs. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
And let me ask you this. Why do you think it's incumbent upon the United States to accept anyone who wants to come here?
Well,
Like, do you have a general problem with the idea of borders and ensuring the well-being of our people here first?
well, I don't have a general problem with like borders itself. It's obviously it's like important to keep like national security and whatnot. And a lot of people like actually apply for visas. And then like I have relatives that are applying for visas and they're waiting like decades to get here legally. So I think borders are important, but I also think that America has a like long reputation of being a land of opportunity and a multi-cultural cultures. So I feel like if
Thank you,
an
Stina.
illegal immigrant comes here searching for asylum, searching for work, searching for more opportunity, America has a duty to like let them in.
Why?
And do it.
When you say asylum, can you define for me asylum? Because that's an actual term. It's not a broad term. There's a legal definition to asylum. It's not someone seeking a better wage. It's someone fleeing a persecutive government. That's not most of these people.
This is what I'm saying. Like, y'all just seen they gave Elon, what was it? Was it $1 trillion or 1.5 trillion? Elon pay package. What did they just give him? $1 trillion. Elon Musk got a $1 trillion pay package, 75% of votes. Like, they're not giving Elon this $1 trillion for some damn Teslas, bro. They're not giving Elon. They're giving Elon this $1 trillion because Tesla's supposed to have a $30 trillion valuation by 2030, 2028, man. It's the robots, man. They finna roll out these robots. And once these robots go mainstream and they everywhere, you can already spend 22K and get you a robot on Walmart.com right now. Once they go mainstream and Elon gets a government contract or two with these damn Tesla bots, that's finna shoot this damn valuation all the way through the damn roof. That's why they can approve Elon damn $1 trillion pay package, man.
People. They're fleeing countries that suck.
Thank you, Smarty Pants.
Economically, culturally, I would argue, to come here and take advantage of a better country, but they're not benefiting the country. Don't we have the right, just like Mexico does? You know, Mexico has far harsher immigration policy. Where is your family from, by the way?
My family's from Vietnam.
From Vietnam. Yeah, they have far more strict immigration policy in Vietnam, all across Asia, by the way. Super strict in South Korea and Japan. Seems to only be a problem when the United States has it. And we're not really a melting pot in that term of just a bunch of different cultures. Americans are, just to give you a perspective, first off, your parents are probably waiting for a very long time because our immigration system is broken, largely because of the mass illegal immigration. But Americans are footing the bill they're paying to be made to feel like strangers in their own hometown. The United States has a national language. Thank God we have one now. We didn't before. The United States has a culture. And is it okay? This is one thing, too. For a long time, Americans were accused of being racist. If Americans expect people who come here to wave the flag, speak the language, and become American, you not only create these ghettos, and I don't mean ghetto in the way that people use it today, but...
That's the thing. Robots already normalized. He's doing deport all illegals. That's what we watching right now, Tony. But robots are already normalized, Mr. Smarty Pants, because we just not thinking about it in a way that is an actual stand-up robot. How many people have the little what are the damn Zumba, the little robot vacuum cleaners that just go through the house and clean, and it runs up on something and backs up and clean? That's a robot. That was our first dealings with robots just being normalized in the house was the damn little vacuum cleaners, man. Everybody's acting like we've had these vacuum cleaners for years and years. You go in the house now, you don't even look at the vacuum cleaner. You don't think about it, man. That's a damn robot in the crib.
Ghettos where you have people who come from these countries and they create neighborhoods where they don't integrate, they don't associate, and it's not American. And Americans also want to have a clearly defined culture and preserve that because they want to keep the country they grew up in. Is that okay?
I believe that's okay, but like I would argue that American culture is like ever changing. Like it's not like our culture like 200 years ago is the same as our culture today. Especially with like I grew up with public schools, right? So
I'm sorry. Me too. Yeah.
Well, like I think that the influx of immigrants like throughout time, and right now where certain like ethnic groups are actually going to like be a majority of the American population. I feel like just blending all those like cultures together and then like having like public forums like school like that's beneficial.
Hold on now, F around and find out now. They saying but black people was native here now. You gotta go look, man. You got a lot of these Indian tribes claiming black people is native now. Where are the boats, man? Where are the slave ships? They found everything. They still looking for the Titanic. They done found damn near everything except Atlantis, El Dorado, and the damn slave ships. Them the only things we ain't found.
And that changes like how American culture.
So how is it beneficial? Because you say it's ever changing. Well, you can say that technologically, right, for any culture. By the way, sorry, I got a mosquito on my ankle. It's driving me nuts. That's every culture if you're talking about like technology, stuff like that. But let me ask you this. What part of American culture is not ever changing or shouldn't be ever changing? What should be the constant? What is American culture? Because that's the conversation we're having right now. And you say, those demographics going to change. And that is true. You have the Democratic Party putting Americans out of work, discouraging, for example.
Y'all say it's paused on the Epstein victims. What the hell y'all mean it's paused on the Epstein victims? You gotta catch up. I don't know. You gotta
rates under this climate alarmism and importing in record numbers third world labor where, America would look like these other countries. What is, by your estimation, or what should not be ever changing to preserve American culture?
Well, what I think American culture is like, I feel patriotism is a big part of it, and also just like the self-working man, right? Like you're pulling yourself up by the bootstraps.
Self-determination.
Yeah, self-determination. I feel like those are like the biggest factors.
But patriotism means patronage, right, to something. So patriotism to what? To America? Would we also include Christendom?
Christian?
Yeah. Now, Christianity is the basis of this country. Fundamental Western values.
I feel that, bro, and it's like I'm from the Bible Belt, but a lot of the founding fathers was not Christian. I'm just saying, like a lot of the founding fathers was some other stuff, man. Let's see. We'll do some research.
America was founded
Protestants
on the basis of Christianity, but I feel like that isn't one of my biggest
No, I'm just saying that's a part of American culture.
Yeah,
just like in a lot of Asian cultures, you could obviously have Buddhism, Taoism. I don't know what is the primary religion in Vietnam. I know for a period of time, obviously. Oh, you can just put that in your pocket if you want. And I appreciate you asking for the citations, by the way. What is it in Vietnam?
Vietnam, like my family's Buddhist, but I'm pretty sure it's like it's either Buddhism or Catholicism.
Okay. Yeah, there's obviously a strong current of atheism when you're talking about the communism that rose in Vietnam. So that's a part of it. What about a shared language?
A shared language?
Yeah. Shared language in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you this. How does someone coming from, let's say, Mexico or Honduras, how does someone coming here, let's just take Mexico as an example, someone who comes to this country, who takes a job that an American is willing to do for a lower wage because they don't pay taxes, who doesn't speak English, waves the Mexican flag, how does that benefit the United States in any way?
Well, like
culturally, even.
Culturally, yeah.
Somebody who doesn't speak the language, doesn't share our values.
I think the core assumption here is that that is their like constant personality. I would argue
it's too much. I'm saying it's too much, and that's a big reason that Americans, voted for Donald Trump. Not only economically, but culturally. People want a country and a culture they want it preserved, and they have the right to preserve it.
Yeah, I would argue though, immigrants like that.
All right, yeah, this is what they saying. They saying Ben Frank, George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe are described as respectful of Christianity and admirers of Jesus' ethical teachings, but not adherents to conventional Christian orthodoxy. They often embraced a form of theistic rationalism and emphasize morality. And I'm not gonna lie, man, right about now, they ass to be on the chopping block because Christians ain't playing in America right now. If you want to be real, the founding fathers ass will probably be on the chopping block right now, if you want to be real, because they not playing right now.
I don't think they're just...
A lot of the Christians are being radicalized right now, man. They trying to phase out everything, man. So, George Washington, Ben Frank, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, if they got up there and was running for office in 2028 and said, hey, look, man, I'm not a Christian. I believe in theistic rationalism. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jesus is cool. I like what he did for the world, as far as what he did ethically, but I'm a theistic rationalism. If they got up there and said that, they would be ready to burn them folks at the damn stake. They'll be ready to burn them folks at the stake.
Trying to represent their home country like forever. I think they're also trying to blend into the American culture we have now.
When I say being radicalized, I mean like with a lot of the Nick Fuentes and just saying that we gotta cleanse everything out. I feel like the radical Christian is like the ones that what's that guy name that we watch? Like all the churches, all the pastors that came out and they all had that same message where they was, coming at certain individuals that were speaking out. Like that's a form of being radicalized. That's a form of, an organized attack. That's what I mean about it.
I think it's fair.
And saying like another radical Christian would be like Valentina Gomez. Valentina Gomez, like she's taking a damn flamethrower to the Quran. She's getting a lot of social media views, but that's what I would call radical Christianity.
That, like, for example, a Mexican immigrant would only speak Spanish forever and not try to learn English or American.
I didn't assume that all Mexican immigrants speak Spanish forever, but I will tell you, having to press one for English in an English country is a problem. Vietnam wouldn't accommodate another culture before their own and wouldn't accommodate the best interests of foreign nations before their own, would they? They absolutely would not. They have a much stronger nationalist bent than the United States. Yeah, it's a problem if it's so prevalent and so common that signs have to be in Spanish, that customer service has to be in Spanish, where you can't communicate with your neighbor. It's enough of a problem. And the idea of a language test, has been rejected wholesale by the Democratic Party. Right, so it's accommodated by design. That is a problem, and it's not a small percentage. You have people who are here for decades who cost the taxpayer billions of dollars, never learn the language, never assimilate. Here's the big difference, right? You talk about and I hear this a lot, a nation of immigrants, and that's probably you're probably thinking like in your mind like Ellis Island, probably early 1900s, right? So let's kind of look through. That's column A, and column B is the immigration we're looking at today. Right, to use the melting pot analogy. Someone from Italy, someone from Ireland, someone from Poland, Germany, take your pick, right?
No, I'm not saying whether it's okay or not okay for them to be radicalized, it's a lot of Christians, I don't feel like I'm radical, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, I'm not perfect by all means, we all fall short of the glory. But look, I feel like a lot of them are being more radicalized when it comes to like just being burning the Quran, like I said, with a flamethrower. That's kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? Going to the where they out there preaching and snatching, the mic and just, shouting all kind of wild stuff. Like that's radical. Whether we say it's okay or not is a different convo. But when we're saying that it's not a radical faction coming up, that's simply not true. Now whether it's right or wrong, that's a different topic. But saying that it's not happening is kind of crazy.
Coming here then, you've heard the old stories, nothing but a nickel in my pocket, right, got off the boat. They were coming here at great risk to themselves, not safety or comfort. There was no welfare state. It was, you come here, and like you said, self-determination. You are free, but don't expect us to coddle you. Some of them actually left the security and comforts of their previous countries in order to seek out freedom, put at risk to themselves. And they came here and they learned the language. Let's be honest, someone from Ireland and someone from England and someone from Italy who were living in a borough of New York back then who spoke the same language, it's not like they were from different planets. They had a relatively similar shared heritage, culture, values, religion, language. That is not the same as people coming here when there is a giant modern welfare state that incentivizes immigration at a cost to the taxpayer, not at risk to themselves, at cost to the taxpayer, and they don't learn the language, and they don't share the same.
See, I'm going to call in. I want y'all to call in with this one. You said, what's wrong with burning the Quran? When they burn, when Muslims burn the Bible, that's everything that Christianity is supposed to be against. It's supposed to be, bringing people in. That's supposed to be lost, It's supposed to be turn the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to have to fight, I'm not going to deny the crusade or holy wars or anything like that. But when it comes to, burning the Quran for social media likes and views, is that what we are as Christians now? Is that where Christians are going? We gonna get on live and burn the Quran? Just okay, all right. You know what I'm saying? Call in.
Same values. It's like we're from different planets. Is it fair to say there's a marked difference between that?
I can see that differences.
Yeah. And so how about this? Not that I think this will ever happen, but here's my middle ground. I say deport everyone, by the way, who's here illegally. Make them go through the process like your parents are. Would you think that's disagreeable? Give them the opportunity to come through legally, but if they're here illegally, you got to go back, come back through just like your family, applying for visas. Let's assume you disagree with that. How about this? Okay, if we catch you and you're here illegally, all right, you can stay if you pay all your back taxes. How long have you been here? How long have you been working? You pay all of it plus 5% interest because Americans will be penalized if they didn't pay their taxes. You pass a language, you have to do it immediately. If not, you're gone. You have to pass a language test, civics test, just like you do to become a citizen here. I know it because my missus had to go through a naturalization test. She's Brazilian. And then you also have to provide proof of contribution to your community, bettering your community, as well as, by the way, a remittance tax, where you can't come here and send your money back to another country. No other country allows that. So if you come here and you don't speak the language and you haven't paid taxes and you're sending your money to another country, you're gone. If you already know English, you're ready to pay your back taxes, because if you were here wanting to be a part of America, you'd be saving your taxes just like I do quarterly. You could
see. I'm gonna keep it real. It's like at that point, you know what I'm saying? At that point, it becomes almost like gangbanging. You know what I'm saying? You said it says, do not send idol against those who would do wrong against you or God. But when you are getting online with a flamethrower, burning the Quran or burning the dang whatever religious text it is, it's not even about the Quran. It's whatever religious, whatever the Hindus, whatever you doing. As a Christian, once you get up there and do that, is that how we spreading the gospel now? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna turn a lot of people away from it. That looks radical. That looks like, oh, it's, you know what I'm saying? Now you supposed to go sit down and talk about it's just I don't know. I'm from the Bible Belt. It's just a little different for me. I didn't see anything like that growing up. I did understand there are some racist undertones, you know what I'm saying, that work, saying people running around with horses and hoods saying that they the true Christians. Don't get me wrong, that was going on. But yeah, burning the Quran and shit, that's kind of crazy. Burning what's another religious text? Yeah, yeah, the Torah. Yeah, burning all of that, that would be kind of crazy to me. And then going on live doing it, you know, like why don't you go like preach the gospel? You know what I'm saying? Do something to help. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Pass the language test easily because you're happy to be in the United States, and you'll keep your money here in our economy as opposed to sending it back. And just do a soup kitchen charity. You do that, we'll give you a path to going through the process. Would that be fair? Anyone who doesn't meet that criteria, gone. Is that a fair compromise?
I feel like that's a pretty fair compromise, except for the fact that it's immediate, right? Like,
but someone here who wants to be American, they obviously should know the language and they should be ready to pay their
if
taxes.
they want to be American, like even if they want to be American, learning a second language is objectively very hard.
Well, most countries don't even let you in to work there unless you already know the language.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Even in provinces in French Canada. If you don't show the capability, you're not going to be getting into work. You're not going to be eligible for a lot of social maladies, like they're.
Man, y'all said y'all ain't never seen a burning book. Hold on, man. Let me pull Valentina Gomez up for you, man. I know it's her #1 post. Valentina Gomez. Flamethrower. Here, let's go. I'm not gonna lie. This was wild, bro. Now I believe we all can agree this is pretty radical, bro.
Will be raped and your sons beheaded unless we stop Islam once and for all.
Took the power from the devil, then he freed us.
We're done turning the other cheek. Remember, David didn't pray for Goliath. He killed them. America is a Christian nation, so those terrorist Muslims can fuck off to any of the 57 Muslim nations. There is only one true God, and that is the God of Israel.
Took the power.
Yeah. She did that.
Their sort of socialized healthcare. Yeah. We're one of the only. You know who has an official language of the country being English? You know who has that? India. Every other country, almost every country, had an official language except for us. By the time you get here, if you want to be American, right, it's a golden ticket. Like you said, right? It's a great country. That's why they're coming here. Show the respect of learning the language and paying your taxes. Is that fair?
Yes,
Okay. I think that's a fair comment. Well, it'll never happen, though, because the entire Democrat Party says that that's racist. So just keep that in mind and check the citations. But I appreciate the conversation. Andy?
Yeah.
Andy? And I hope it goes well for your parents, too, brother. I hope
it's not my parents.
Oh, sorry, your family. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for speaking.
Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. Be well. Really appreciated being able to cover the broader topic of what it means to be an American with Andy. Really nice kid. Show him you love him in the comments. And show some love in the comments, period, across the board. It helps with the YouTube algorithm that no one fully understands. And hit the like button, share, because that lets the rationalize our positions on controversial topics. I think certainly in 2025, where we are now, it's a hot button issue, that we should be deporting all illegal aliens in this country. If you disagree with me, you're more than welcome to change my mind, Joshua.
Certainly. I'd also like that. I think I followed you since, I think you went to CCU. You blew up on Twitter like 10 years ago, so
okay.
It's cool to see you there. But yeah, I do heavily disagree with deport all illegals.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, realistically speaking, how can you actually do that? All illegals, I mean, is that really possible?
Well, can we end all murder? No. Can we end all theft?
Absolutely not.
Tax evasion?
No.
It doesn't mean that it's not a matter of policy.
Of course.
So I'm saying that the ideal as a matter of policy should be people who are here illegally. Certainly at this juncture, the policy is deport people illegally, who are here illegally. Sorry, not illegally deport them. And have them come through the same pathways that people who migrate here legally.
Yeah, certainly. Would you say that like current illegals in today's day, I mean, do you think they don't try to do it the legal way? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't care.
You don't care? Okay.
I really don't. Some do. Some don't. What I care about is there are more slaves on Earth than ever in recorded history, including sex slaves. 300,000 minors went missing under Biden. I care that they cost the American taxpayer $150 to $450 billion a year. I care that there are particularly Hispanic immigrants here in this country who live in sanctuary cities under the rule of cartels, and they can't report anything to the authorities because they're basically held hostage and for ransom. I just think it's I'm sure there are some, but it enables a system that's a real failure, and we need to change.
Right. So, going on your point about slaves and, you know, in particular Hispanic immigrants, you know, they're the ones who, don't you think they might come over here to kind of escape that form of slavery?
Well, if they are, they're doing a really bad job because we've created a modern day class of slavery where people who, and there are employers who should be punished, who are all too happy to hire people off the books. They're enabled by policy from the Democrat Party, and there are people who are happy to work off the books. So that's why they'll work for lower wages, and they're effectively modern indentured servants. So I don't think it's good for them either.
Right. It may not, but I think I'm going to kind of put the point of view as this way.
Sure.
You take me, for example. My parents came from Mexico, and I just think it's, when you say something like
illegally
deport all illegals, then I think you kind of rob sort of children as myself, and from an opportunity like this, you know, coming to a great university. And I'm privileged in that sense, you know. Like,
sure.
I have the opportunity to come here. I'm proud to be here right now, you know. It means the world to me. So I think that kind of deprives these immigrant children from that.
Yeah.
And, you know,
why is it, why is it the American citizen's job to provide that? You say deprived, that means someone else is providing it. What about the people here who are deprived of it, who are struggling as well? Why is it incumbent upon the American working tax-paying class to provide opportunity to everyone?
I suppose it isn't, but with that same point of view, wouldn't you say that deporting illegals, that also takes away from the tax-paying dollars?
No, how?
I'm not so sure.
You mean how much it costs?
Right.
Yeah. No, I understand that point, but for example, if we just deported, let's say, 20 million illegal aliens, it costs on average about $17,000, give or take. These are all estimates, right?
Of course.
So you'd be at around $350 million. You'd be saving money by the end of the year. Yeah, let's call it 2 years, because it costs $150 billion. And if you watched the older installments, for example, like at TCU, I did a Build the Wall, Change My Mind, which back then was also racist, but has now been incredibly effective. Because now people say, well, we support strong border policy, but not deportation. But back then there was no support for strong border policy. Back then the number was $116 billion a year. The lowest you'll find is $150 to $450 billion. If we deported 20 million illegals, we'll call it $350 billion. So that would be a net savings. And not to mention, in addition to that, job loss. I mean, here's one thing too, you say deprived. And just to be clear, of course my heart goes out to people who are seeking a better livelihood. I understand that. I think it's a hard case to make for the people who've opened the borders where they say all cultures are equal, but it's so cruel to send these people back to their equal culture that we have to allow them to stay here. Of course I understand my heart goes out. My heart also goes out to the 7.5 million Americans looking for jobs who are ready, able, and willing to do them. And those jobs are being imported for lower wages. And I don't think that's good for the culture in this country either. I think there are exceptions, but that's not what's happening in this country.
Certainly. I kind of actually admire that you said that, because I was going to make the point that, you know, when people, I wanted to originally bring up the point that, you know, illegals, when we come over here, we're taking all these, you know, the jobs no one else wants, but I honestly see like illegals as more than that, you know. Obviously, some people, you know, we come over here, we're illegal, and then we become legal. You know, that's just kind of what happens. In some cases, of course.
Sure.
And I think a lot of us, like, for example, I'm Hispanic and I'm in business, you know, I'm proud to be moving into a sector, you know, making a name for ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think we're more than just like blue collar jobs. And June jobs that no one else wants.
Oh, I didn't say just blue collar jobs.
Yeah, no,
because
that's fine. I appreciate it.
Well, because that's also a problem. Picture you're one of the 7.5 million Americans, right?
Yes.
And so people often go, who will pick your strawberries? People who are here. Hispanic people aren't the only people who will pick strawberries. Okay? And Hispanic people aren't. You know who mowed lawns? In Canada, I did snow blowing, which sucks way more, shoveling walkways. I'd much rather mow lawns. I did those jobs. Plenty of Americans did those jobs. But the argument used to be, who's going to do these low-skill jobs? Yes. Now the argument, if you look at H-1Bs, is, well, there aren't enough skilled Americans to do tech jobs and engineering jobs. So an average American tech worker, for example, in Palo Alto, might cost about $120,000. Let's do it for $70,000 if someone skims off the top. And now we have illegal aliens, for example, taking truck driving jobs. That's a middle-skilled job that pays well and an American would take to support his family. And we're told that, no, Americans won't do those jobs. So I think we agree, this idea that Americans won't do them, it's just not true. And it's not that immigrants will only do one form of job. I just think the priority needs to be to people who are here struggling because we're a country and we need to place our countrymen and women first.
Right. I think, America right now is kind of at a point in time where it's relatively unsafe, but I think both you and I agree we want a safe America, and we want to prioritize that, even if it is towards American citizens first. That's fine. I get that. Like, I am an American citizen myself, and I'm actually a senior graduate in this May, so I'm going to be entering the job market, and I'm going to be in that relative same position. So.
And what are you studying?
Finance.
Finance. Okay. So what do you plan on doing in finance?
So right now, I plan on going into commercial real estate or wealth management.
Okay. That's two very different areas.
Yeah, I know.
Because commercial real estate, like every lady named Becky is in commercial real estate these days, for instance, but then obviously in wealth management, that requires a little more specialty.
Certainly. So I say that because commercial real estate, I really enjoy speaking, and honestly, I enjoy great debate as well, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah. But aside from that, I have a relative interest in commercial real estate, but wealth management, it's if you look at the industry right now, it's a lot of these older dudes are kind of retiring from it.
Yeah.
And I think commercial real estate, it's a lot of older dudes are holding on to their, money.
Well, let me ask you this. So let's take that scenario, and I'm not super familiar with it, but I assume you're accurate. Those people are retiring. Okay.
Yes.
What would you think about people being brought in to do those jobs on H-1Bs at 30% lower wages than you would need to live?
Well, quite frankly, probably piss me off.
Yeah, because that's happening across this country, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that is compassionate or right, or do you think that obviously looking out for the interests of you, who's gone through this the right way and gone to school and studied, that you should be given priority as far as your best interest? Just someone could just say, you know what, yeah, great, we would hire you, but this person named Prandeep from India is going to do it for $40,000 less.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult question to answer. I'm gonna put a scenario. For example, when I was waiting in line to speak with you, I was at the very back, and then I just kind of was given priority.
Well, because many people come up and they agree, and I was like, is there anyone who disagrees? And they said, well, this person's parents are, so he might disagree. Yeah. So, I don't know, but I mean, Lane is Aryan, so maybe it was tokenism on his part. But a lot of people agree, so we will try and give right away to people who disagree.
Okay. Well, see, that's a perfect example because I was automatically given priority just because I disagree, And that's kind of playing into this scenario where it's like, should these people be given priority or should I be given priority?
Not really.
The people who are willing to do the job cheaper, should they be given priority, or should me, the American citizen, be given priority? It's a difficult question.
But it's not difficult do you want to have a United States?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Well, then you've answered the question.
So,
right?
Yes, sir.
Do you want it to be India?
No.
Do you want it to be, even though I know, do you want the United States to be Mexico?
No.
I know your parents don't. That's why they came.
Right. Absolutely.
So it's a pretty clear answer.
Of course.
Look out for America's interests. And isn't it great that a very white person and a brown person can agree on that?
Yeah.
Because the media says that view is racist.
Right.
America first is racist. Well, that means all people who are here. But I don't want this country to be India.
Yeah.
And I don't want this country to be Mexico. I think we're a better country. And I think it's better for, by the way, I think that India and Mexico would do better to emulate America as opposed to what they're doing.
Right, certainly. I mean, yeah, I hate that people try to make it like white versus brown because I'm not even seeing it like that,
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do tend to see things that way, as white versus black, white versus brown. But it's like, no, we can have a civil conversation like we are right now, without having to bring up all this other extra BS.
Well, I will say it is relevant in this sense, and I think it's fair for people to say it's relevant. If someone comes here from what is effectively a third world country compared to the United States. I would classify most of Mexico that way. Not everyone, but people live in abject poverty that Americans can't imagine.
That's fair.
And same thing in India, of course, one of the poorest countries on earth. I think if they come here and they don't share our fundamental values and they don't share a common language and they send their money back to the other country, I think that's relevant. And I think Americans are tired of it. And I think that Americans, yeah, they want to preserve a culture, but they do take race into account when they go, oh, hold on a second, we're noticing the pattern of people coming here, taking advantage of our services, our good graces, and using our empathy against us. I kind of want to have neighbors that speak my language and share my culture, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be like Japan, where it's such a high trust society because everyone looks the same. They got 3% immigrants like have to go, like right away. They started deporting them. But I think it's relevant. I really do.
Okay, well, in that case, I mean, wouldn't you say, like, you should, I guess, like, I really do appreciate that, but at the same time, I'm like, America, we kind of used to, like, embrace and admire, and I'm not saying we still do, but a little less to a degree, we used to admire being such a boiling pot, and now it kind of seems like we are straying away from that. Of course, with you want to have a neighbor who shares the same culture. It is frustrating when you go to the gas station and you can't understand whoever you're speaking with. You know, I 100% get that.
And it shouldn't be allowed. In my opinion, it shouldn't be allowed.
What should not be allowed?
People coming here and not learning a language. Yeah. And I don't think that people should be allowed to come here and send all their money back to the country they fled. Mm-hmm. When people say asylum, I go, well, then why are you sending 60, 70% of your money back? You know who doesn't do that? Cuban Americans. You know who doesn't do that? Russian Americans who fled the USSR. They don't want to send money there.
Right.
So I don't think it's a legitimate claim if someone is coming here from Mexico, working a seasonal job, and sending their money back to Mexico. That benefits Americans zero, and it is a net harm, not only economically, but culturally. I've seen public opinion shift because I think Americans were very open-minded, but they're going, you know what? This doesn't feel like the country. What is American? I'm patriotic. Well, what does that mean? Patriotic to what? To not a shared language? To people who wave the flag of a foreign nation on our national holidays? I think that's relevant.
Right. Well, if I'm not mistaken, learning English is not a requirement, although it probably should be.
I think it should be.
It probably should be, you know, but as of right now, that's not the America we live in.
I know. It is in Mexico.
It's
not English, but Spanish.
Right.
You're not allowed to own waterfront property. You realize that? Even if you're a legal immigrant in Mexico. You're not allowed to protest. There are additional taxes. We have a very lenient immigration policy. So when a place like Mexico would not afford me, as a legal immigrant, the same rights as someone there, and we're saying, yeah, you know what, we'll just, I guess we'll give you a pass, an amnesty. It's foolish. And if your family loves America, and that's, I think, what this broader conversation is. If we want America to be a country, if we think it's a great country, well, what makes it great? And that doesn't mean melanin in the skin, but it does mean shared values. And we haven't been requiring that of immigrants, legal and illegal, in this country. And I propose that we shift direction on that. We need to share more common ground.
So in that case, which I mostly agree with, what is a realistic solution to that?
So I think we need to have, we have, Donald Trump was, signed into, through executive order, an official language, which means we've caught up to India. They have English as an official language there, an official language. I think that at this point, we actually should be quite selective in the immigrants, legal, who are allowed here. They should be judged on the criteria of, is this a net benefit to the country? Not, hey, do we have to do the nice thing and allow everyone here? I think that's how our immigration policy should exist. And I think that states can have reforms, and they have, for example, requiring customer service being in English. I think a culture of these expectations is reasonable. And people who come here legally, like, for example, my mom is French-Canadian. My dad's man, I was born in Detroit. She learned English. Didn't speak a word of it. She learned English. She loves America. She's gone through the process. Now imagine her, she's French, right? She learned English. And she comes here, and she can't share a common language because that person only speaks Spanish or only speaks whatever it is, Farsi, whatever it is. She's furious. My lady, and a feminist got mad that I said my lady. She's like, that's possessive. My lady is Latina. She's Brazilian, but was raised by a Cuban-American mom, so she speaks Portuguese, Spanish, and English. And she went through the process, and she's furious when she has someone who won't speak English. She's like, I did it. So I don't think it's a lot to ask. I think our approach needs to be not only an official language, but also an expectation of all Americans. And we're going to have another topic, SNAP. I think we should do away with SNAP. I think if you are not a contributing member of society, you shouldn't be given the same level of credence as those who are working and struggling in society and building. Let me put it this way: it's the difference between building a country and taking from a country. When we talk about immigrants in the early 20th century, that's often people think Ellis Island, right? Just an example. Italians, Germans, Irish. They weren't from Mars and Venus. They came here, they learned English, right? Nothing but a nickel in my pocket. They built the Empire State Building and paid taxes, and we're happy to do it. You have people coming here now who work off the books, don't speak the language, and can't even communicate with their neighbors. We have to get back to that. This is a golden ticket, and it should be valued. And I think it's been taken advantage of.
I mean, it is. I do think living in America it's in my opinion, it is a privilege. Like, I'm happy I'm here.
All right, Alan.
You know, I don't have to look over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, wondering, where my next meal is going to come, or wondering who's trying to hunt me down. I'm not going up against the cartel here.
Right.
I don't have to worry about it to that extent.
All right, Alan. We'll see you on the next one.
Kind of
No problem.
I do think it's like, you get all these, like, I agree with a lot of your statements, but I don't know how we do that, like, realistically. Is it from deporting all illegals?
Yeah. And here's why, and that's the policy. So, for example, right now, people see it and they go, oh, ICE. Well, I've said to people, and I think since we agree, I can just present it to you very, very, very transparently. Right now, if you're here illegally, you can self-deport the CBP One app. They'll pay for your flight. They'll give you $1,000 cash to go back to your country border and come back through the right way. If you don't, they're going to deport you. I think that's very fair. And I think the process should include, like I said, for legal immigration, language. It already includes civics, but not language. My mom, when she went through the process, to give you an idea, she was going through a naturalization process. Someone was there and had to have an interpreter. Does that seem right to you?
I mean, I'm not going to answer that.
Why not?
Yes. I mean, I'm sorry. It does not seem right.
Because she's French.
Right.
She learned the language.
And she learned the language.
And she put on her Sunday best, right? She was proud to do it. And there was someone there who looked like they couldn't care less and couldn't speak the language. And you're going to have a more divided America until we acknowledge that these grievances are real and people want to preserve something special. But yeah, I think we've been doing it the other way. Granting amnesty, right? Being very lenient, open borders, and all of this was opposed. Now we have 99% reduction, 99.9, I think, percent reduction in interactions at the border. So it can be done. We were told it couldn't be done. A lot of people have self-deported because the message has been sent loud and clear. I think the messaging as far as the culture, what the expectations are, and reflected through policy is a good start. And I just don't see anything wrong with someone who's here illegally who, if they go back to their country of origin, all cultures are equal, and come back through the process that everyone else has to go through. I think people might say that's not compassion. I just don't agree.
That's fine. I guess the last point here for me. Do you see anything wrong, which it seems like you do? For example, you take let's say a father of two kids. It really doesn't matter. Let's say an illegal immigrant's been here for 20 years, for example. Been paying taxes during those 20 years, and knows the language, but just is undocumented. Do you think there's an issue with
No, and here's the thing, because I know that people will then, invariably go to what about the kids, where it's not, and it's true. My heart does go out to those kids.
Right.
They didn't commit any misdeed. Their parents did. Their parents absolutely did. And this went back to the conversation, right? Well, Reagan granted amnesty to 3 million illegal aliens. Disaster, because now that number is up by 450%. It didn't work. It only encouraged more. And so you do have to look at a certain point, right? As well, what about this individual? You go, okay, let's look at the totality. Are we enabling the human trafficking trade? Yes. Are we enabling coyotes? Yes. Are we enabling the cartel? Yes. Are we enabling the erosion of our culture through this policy? Because the debate was, what about anchor bait? What about dreamers? And people said, okay. Then the left said, you're not allowed to deport violent felons in our current prisons. So their approach has been an absolute approach, and I think it's been irreparably harmful. So yeah, now mine is pretty absolutist. It's, look, they committed a misdeed, the parents. The good news is you can go through the process and come here legally. I'm not saying it's going to be ideal for everyone, but it's going to be applicable and appropriate, I would say, for the overwhelming majority, and better for the country, and better for these other countries, by the way. That's not good for people in Mexico to have these. I mean, it enables all kinds of horrible things to have open borders policy.
Of course, and I do, I don't want anyone to think that, a lot of Mexicans, for example, which I'm going back to that because that's obviously what my background is, but I don't want people to look at Mexicans and see us as like felons or any of these bad negative things. So
No.
I definitely don't. I definitely would agree with having like a set of illegals that are felons being deported. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I don't want us to have that sort of image. You know.
I will tell you this, though. No, I absolutely don't. And I don't think most people do. If I have an interaction with a Mexican-American immigrant and they don't speak the language, I immediately think of them as less American. That's my opinion.
Oh, cool.
And so does my Latina lady.
Yes.
She'll hear Mexican ladies talking shit on her because she kind of looks white. She's Portuguese, Brazilian
Yeah.
Portuguese, so she looks
White.
more white. And they will think she doesn't speak, and they'll just talk all kinds of crap on her. And she one time said, I would never say that about them. But she goes, but if I hear someone not speaking the language that I had to learn, why are we citizens of the same country? Why am I expected to? So I will say, it's not brown. It's, this person has made no effort to respect what makes this country great. Is that fair? Do you think that's racist if it's language and culture based?
Perfectly fair, and I really appreciate you saying less American as opposed to less human.
Yeah, no, of course they're not less
Seriously,
human.
I really appreciate it.
No, we're all human beings created in the eyes of God, yeah. But less American.
I appreciate that.
I see someone and I certainly see someone waving the Mexican flag as less American than the person waving the American flag. And I want my neighbors, by the way, I have Hispanic neighbors who wave the American flag. I mean, you go to Little Havana in Miami, those Cuban Americans, they're hardcore. You see American flags everywhere. I think of them as American as can be. But if someone is waving a foreign nation's flag, I'm not saying they should be jailed like they would in other countries, like they would in almost all other countries, but I do view them as less American.
That's fine, and I mean, I guess our freedoms that we're given here do allow us to do such things, but
Yeah.
which I'm not saying I partake in that
No,
in particular. But
And I get it if you have both and you want to celebrate your heritage. To give you an idea, I go to, a good example, Armenians. I've been going to an Armenian Orthodox church. Doesn't mean I've converted, but I like the priest there, very, very nice man. So these people, right, it's one of the oldest languages in existence. And you want to talk persecution, the Armenians, everyone was trying to wipe them off the face of the map, right? They faced a real genocide. And they deliver the service in both Armenian and English. And it takes twice as long. Even though they're here and it's for the Armenian community, they're very grateful to be American and very welcoming. And that's a perfect example of preserving their culture, respecting their heritage, but acknowledging this is the country that gave us the opportunity to escape that. It's not like we don't have examples. We have plenty. And I think it's by design where people flagrantly disrespected it. Not everyone, but a lot of people do. Yeah.
I think that's fair, and I mean, at least we can both agree that we want a safe America. And
Yeah, and I hope you do well, and I hope you don't get undercut by an H-1B. Even people on the right, Elon Musk, like their policies, and I completely disagree with. I'm like, no, we don't need to uncap H-1Bs because then it just ends up whoever's cheapest, and then you can't have a country.
that's fair. Thank you for your time, Mr. Crowder.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Do you
Thank
mind if I grab a picture?
Absolutely. Yeah, sure, no problem. Oh, now we're at that golden hour where it's nothing.
All right, man, that's the end of the episode, chat. If anybody wants to call in, I got the phone number pinned. We're 2 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Can we get 2 subscribers right quick, man? Whoever's the second subscriber, let me know. I'll give you a shout out right quick, man. But we do got the phone lines open. If anybody wants to call in, man, anybody wants to call in before we get up out of here. Man, I did do I dropped a couple of videos. Y'all go check out those videos. Let's see. So how do y'all feel about deporting all illegals? Do y'all agree or do y'all disagree? Do y'all agree with deporting all illegals or do y'all disagree with deporting all illegals? I don't know, man. Yeah, I think I'm finna clean up, man. I'm gonna clean up and just get ready for the night show, chat. We will be back tonight around 9 p.m. Between 9 and 9:30 p.m. Make sure y'all have all notifications on, man. We'll be back live tonight around 9:30 p.m. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I'll see y'all on the next one, chat.